Hey guys, it's Rosina. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my kitchen. Okay, I lied. I'm sorry. This is not actually my kitchen. This is actually my mom's kitchen, so I'm borrowing it just to make this recipe for you. So what are we making today on Rosina's Kitchen? Well, we're going to be making some soup because I guess in a way it's still technically soup season even though it's getting warmer here in Michigan. But you know what? We're making some soup because I like soup. Now what soup are we making today? Well, we're going to be making French onion soup, which is one of my top 5 soups of all time. I'd even say it's #1 for me personally. I really do love French onion soup. Now I found this recipe off Instagram where I find a lot of the recipes that I make. I found this one off an Instagram handle named Chef Tom Bateman. I believe that's how you pronounce his first name. It's spelled kind of like Thomas, so I'm thinking it's Tom. So if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry, Tom, or whatever you want to call yourself. I don't know. But I got it off his Instagram, and he actually has a YouTube channel as well. So I will be linking that recipe and everything in the description below so you guys can follow along. And I'll put, a little bit of ingredients list here, just so if you want to follow along there as well, you can. So let's get started making this soup. Okay, for his recipe, he actually uses milliliters, liters, and grams because he's from the UK. But since I'm American, gotta use it in cups. So I will be at least having it in cups, but if you look at his recipe on Instagram, it will be in liters and milliliters. So I'm gonna help you convert it if you don't know how to convert it from milliliters, liters to cups and all of that, okay? Now what we're gonna need is 4 onions. Make them about medium size, and you're gonna wanna cut up all of these. And I'm not gonna show too much because I ain't Gordon Ramsay, okay? So just chop up your onions. You want them to be kind of like strips. And just cut up all them onions, all right? And here are your onions all nice and chopped. All right, so the first thing you wanna do is obviously turn your oven on. And this oven's a little sensitive. Believe me, I've had it close to medium and I have burned things. So we're gonna be careful with this. So you want it at least medium heat. And then you wanna add in, it says on his recipe, 30 grams of butter, which is about a little over 2 tablespoons. So I got that here. So we'll let that melt. But then he also adds in, and it says 2 tablespoons of olive oil, but I just kind of put in as much as I feel. I know that's definitely more than 2 tablespoons, but you know what? This is how I'm going to do my recipe, okay? So bear with me, just follow along, okay? So just let the butter and the olive oil combine, and then we will add in our onions. All right, now that our butter and our olive oil has combined, we're going to add in our onions. Now, what you want to do first is turn your temp down to low. And not like full on low, just have it low, like low heat, because I only had it on medium to melt all this together. You want it low because what we're going to do is we're going to take our onions that we have chopped up, as you saw, and we're going to add it in, and what you're going to do is you're going to caramelize these onions. Now, you want this all covered in oil, like the oil and butter. And the reason why you want it low is you don't want it to like saute. You want it to caramelize. So that's why the low heat, and it's low and slow. So this might take a while. For me, I think it takes a couple hours, but we'll see. I'm gonna cover this and it might make it faster. So add those onions. Then you're gonna add, he says about a pinch of salt. And then you add in a pinch of black pepper. I'll get that all covered. Okay, now that that's all good, we're gonna cover this and we're gonna let this caramelize. Just make sure to check on it every once in a while so you don't burn it. I'm gonna like halfway cover it, so not fully covered, just so some of the steam can come out, and we'll check on this after a while.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, let's check on these onions. Let's see if they caramelized. Okay, they caramelized, but they got a little burnt, and that's okay. But that's why I said to make sure that you watch it. So now we're gonna add in our wine. And I like to use this little Pinot Grigio that, you can find those little packs, those 4-packs. And this one's about 187 milliliters. So his recipe calls for 200, but since I'm using this, it'll just be a little less. So after you pour it in, you want to let this sit and you want to let it sit and evaporate so that it can be absorbed, because you're going to add in another liquid after. So let this absorb, and then we're going to add in our next liquid. All right, now that that white wine is basically absorbed, it may look like there's still some in there, but it's because this is all caramelized and sticky and it looks very brown. But now we're going to add in our port wine. Now, you can use either port or brandy. He uses brandy in his as well, but I'm going to use the port because I don't know, I feel like port's, a little better. So about 50 milliliters of that, which is about like a half cup. And I also like just the little bit of red color that it gives. Now you're going to let that sit and do the same thing as the white wine, let it absorb, and then we're going to add in our broth and our little bit of spices.
1 hour later.
All right, all the wine's basically absorbed. Now we're gonna add in our spices and our broth. So we're gonna put in 2 bay leaves and then a big bunch of thyme. And then you're gonna add in, he says about 1.5 liters of beef broth, and that's about 6 cups worth of broth. Now the broth that I use this Better Than Bouillon, and normally I don't do the organic kind, but that's all I could find at the time. So you just want to use this if you want to use the same one I use. Or you could be like Chef Tom and make your own beef broth by hand, or beef stock. Make your own beef stock, which I don't have the time for that, so we're just gonna do the easy way. And now that that's all in, we're just gonna let this sit and cook. And now we're gonna go on to the croutons that we're gonna be putting on top of this soup. All right, we got our bread here. I did half of a baguette because this baguette was huge, so we're just gonna use half of this. Now, I know people normally will do theirs like this, like just doing a regular old, big chunk, but I like to do mine a little different, and you'll see. I do mine like this. Kind of like Panera's. All right, I've got these croutons ready. I threw them in the oven for a little bit to get a little crispy. And I know you're supposed to rub garlic on it, but I just add some garlic paste. And mix. Now to shred the cheese, we're gonna be using a Gruyere. So just shred that cheese. But I'm also doing another cheese because Mom didn't want the Gruyere, so.
Assemble.
All right, time to assemble the soup. First, soup. Next, some cheese. Then, croutons. More cheese. Toss in the oven on a broiler for about a minute or so, depending on your broiler. And then it'll come out like this. And that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you try to make this French onion soup yourselves and tell me what you think. Let me know any other videos you'd love to see from me. I make new videos every Wednesday/Thursday and Saturdays. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you would love to see more. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.